This is exclusive. How Obasanjo, Adebanjo divide Afenifere, move from supporting PDP to Obi, dump Tinubu. The recent development where Ayo Adebanjo, the factional leader of the pan-Yoruba socio-political group Afenifere, endorsed Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, has continued to generate reactions. The polity became heated when another faction led by Pa Ruben Fasoranti endorsed Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress (APC). But Gbemisola Adeoti, a professor of literature in English, traveled down the history lane and revealed how the division in Afenifere started and the role former President Olusegun Obasanjo played in the division. Gbemisola Adeoti, a professor of literature from Obafemi Awolowo University (OAU), has said the pan-Yoruba socio-political group Afenifere were united during the pro-democracy era. The University Dawn revealed that the crack started in 1998 when the Yoruba were meant to produce a candidate for the presidency. Professor Adeoti said, after the annulment of June 12, there was that unanimous front in the Southwest represented by Afenifere, led by first Baba Adekunle Ajasin and then later Baba Abraham Adesanya. That built up to the death of Abacha and the coming of Abdulsalami Abubakar and then the transition program. They were won, but when the field was declared open for politics in the Fourth Republic, they had to choose a presidential candidate. They were all together in PDP, but some sections of the Southwest discovered that most of the people or the dominant people in the PDP were the real people who work with the military, who are against democracy, and they cannot work with them. So Pa Ruben Fasoranti faction of Afenifere has been avoiding people that work with the military. So they pulled out and then formed an APP, Action People's Alliance, APA. But by the time they were in APP, they also saw that some of these elements, like Baba Adedibu, were also in APP. It was then, all right, they pulled out again and formed an Alliance for Democracy AD, which had roots in the Southwest. So in picking a presidential candidate for Southwest, they were torn between Olufalaye, who joined them later, and Bola Ige, who had remained with them since the First Republic. So when they cast the vote, it went in favor of Olufalaye. To the surprise of the many people who thought that somebody who remained with them will be the person to pick. So the division started from there. Bola Ige and his supporters never forgave them, and that accounted for his reason to take up appointment under Obasanjo. All right. Along the line, it showed how Obasanjo divided Afenifere. The professor further revealed that the emergence of former President Olusegun Obasanjo played a significant role in the division, rocking the Afenifere. He said, so when Obasanjo took over, he was looking for a way of decimating Afenifere, and he supported. All right, some people, a section, so that AD divided, some Afenifere went with one faction of AD and some went with another faction of the party. All right, and along the line, it also showed how Obasanjo forced Tinubu Bishop Konde out of AD to form APC. I am giving this background so that you know that Okay, you know that. Okay, so AD then became factionalized, and Obasanjo was actively involved in that factionalization to the extent that Tinubu and others in that group, including Baba Bisi Akonde, then decided to leave AD for them, pulled out and formed their own Action Congress AC, a new party. It is that party that remained AC, later transformed to ACN, and then went into an alliance, then APC, while other groups like Baba Adebanjo to rival Afenifere, Obasanjo sponsored Yoruba Council of Elders, that was another group. All right. Obasanjo, Adebanjo would not go in the way of Tinubu. Now, but Baba Adebanjo was with Obasanjo in his own version of Afenifere, right? Was with the PDP when Obasanjo left. He was with Jonathan, actively with Jonathan, even when in 2011 Adebanjo supported Buhari, but later by 2015 he went against Buhari and supported Jonathan. In 2019, instead of Buhari again, he supported Atiku. So it is clear that no matter what anybody says, Baba Adebanjo will go in a direction where Tinubu is not going, and Tinubu will not go in a direction where Baba Adebanjo is not going. The OAU Dawn fought Adebanjo's endorsement of Peter Obi for 2023 presidency. So that is what happened. Now, just look at the scenario. The presidential candidates were just coming out. People are holding town hall meetings in the North, the Arewa Consultative Forum, Northern Elders Forum. About 6 of them organized a debate for all the presidential candidates in Kaduna. Tinubu was there, Atiku was there. All the groups made it clear that the reason is not to endorse anybody, but they just want to interact with the candidates. So the Northern group had not come out to support any candidate. But before the real campaign started, Baba Adebanjo said that they have decided, and it is it is Obi that they are endorsing. Just look at that. I mean, the voice of Esau and Jacob. If there is no ulterior motive, why the hurry to adopt a presidential candidate when where the person comes from has not even adopted him? So why did Afenifere of Paruben endorse Tinubu? The other side saw the politics being played by the Baba Adebanjo's version, and they also tried to claim their own section of the Afenifere. All right. So who the Yoruba people are now? What kind of people are they? In any case, the Yoruba people have always been their own masters. They don't go in the same direction. In the Second Republic, even when Obafemi Awolowo, the leader, was the presidential candidate of NPN, people like Adisa Akinjide were in NPN. Right? Adisa Akinloye was the chairman of the National Party of Nigeria, NPN, still the same Southwest. So therefore, the division in Afenifere is democratic. So for me, it shows that it is democratic once it is allowing people to freely express their opinion. At the end of the day, it is not the Baba Adebanjo who will determine where people will go, or the Baba Fashoranti people will decide where they want to go. If you look at the Adebanjo fashion, do they represent the popularity of opinion? That is the question. If yes, how have they been faring? And then how many people attend this Afenifere meeting? Most of the people that they are old or older. So I don't see any problem there. It is not new. It is expected to happen in a democratic situation. What we should worry about is if Baba Adebanjo did what he did, adopting a candidate on behalf of a whole race without proper consultation, and everybody said yes, no contrary opinion, then you should be worried, because that will not be Yoruba. So therefore, in 2023 election, what Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, others must do for next year poll to hold. Legit Nigeria earlier reported that Gbemisola Adeoti, a professor of literature and English, has said the political class, particularly the presidential candidates, must have the will to abide by the rules of the election. The university Dawn also posited that once there is a will, there will always be a way, while urging the security agencies also to have the will to suppress the growing insecurity in the country. Adeoti, who has built a career in humanity, said if elections can take place in states like Borno and Yobe in 2015 and 2019, then the security operatives should do what they have to do for all elections to hold now. Wow. So this Professor Adeoti is a professor of literature and English in Obafemi Awolowo University, and is trying to dissect all that happened in Afenifere, how they got divided, and went down the memory lane right from the time of Awolowo, the time of UPN and NPN, and that was actually right from the time of 1979 to 1983, 1984, when Bafemi Awolowo was their leader and their head, up till now, that they've been democratic. That means that they are not going. Now, the summary of the whole thing is that because they are going their separate ways and endorsing whoever they want to endorse, that makes a democratic process, and there's nothing to worry about. Assuming the whole Yoruba race is coming out to say one person, this is consensus candidate, then automatically that becomes tribalistic, all right? But now it is not tribalistic, because some others are following Fasoranti and Afenifere, while some others are following Adebanjo. Some are signing Tinubu, while some are signing on Peter Obi. You know, nobody has so far signed on Atiku from the southwest. So what is happening here is that the Afenifere are just simply democratic, and there's nothing wrong about it. Let's see, some people have some comments here. But when Adebanjo of Afenifere endorsed Peter Obi, most people from the southeast said that Afenifere was an inconsequential organization that has no power to influence southwest voters. So it is baffling that months after Peter Obi's endorsement, right, the Afenifere organization has become the cornerstone. People are having sleepless nights from the action of this same irrelevant group. Nigerians' tribalism and politics are triplets, right? They are a wonderful trio. Another person say, go and analyze your regional problems. Or Haneze needs consultancy to evaluate your regional problems. Can you imagine? All right. So somebody say, yes, say, who no know, go know. Tribalism and jealousy at play. Nigerian voters will decide the right leader come 2023. Alhaji Suleiman Akombi Abiola Salami, author of 2 books on good governance, sales, marketing, human rights activist. All right. So that is the person that is saying this now. He's saying whom he is. So what we need is a president that has integrity, capacity, competence, and strength of health and character. Exactly. That's the kind of president that we need. And that summarizes the whole thing. So let's go back and go and x-ray ourselves, x-ray the politics, x-ray the candidates, the predominant candidates we have now, and then use this criteria to accept them. So thank you for listening. This is just a memory lane put down by Professor Adeoti to understand why the Afenifere got divided between Tinubu and Peter Obi ahead of 2023 election.